Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, the war is definitely stepping up. And I noticed some of the GOP politicians got on TV saying it's not a war. Well, that's what Donald Trump is calling it. If you go look at his speeches over the last couple of days, he is specifically using the word war. So if that's not a war, then you might want to tell Donald Trump because he's been everywhere screaming the word war. So I just think, of course, they're like, oh, well, he can't do this and that without Congress. Well, he's already done it. And he's done this with Venezuela. And y'all said the same BS then. Oh, he can't do this without Congress. Apparently, he can do anything he wants without Congress. So I don't even know why y'all talking and running your mouth at this point. Congress looks completely irrelevant. You have zero control over Donald Trump. Donald Trump is just running amok and doing whatever he wants. Now, he already spoke about taking Cuba, and Congress, you're going to just sit there and say he can't do X, Y, and Z without Congress, but he will do whatever the hell he wants. And that's all we have seen the entire time Donald Trump's been in office. So I don't know what y'all talking about. Should you even exist at this point? Because I don't see the point. Should Congress even exist? Because Donald Trump is sure making you all look irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or right. Y'all are looking very irrelevant. So the strikes are stepping up. I was just looking at Iran. They just sent a barrage of missiles that hit Tel Aviv and Haifa there in Israel. They're still striking military bases that are across the Middle East. And I also saw today two more service members died for the US, have been unalive today. So Donald Trump is claiming this is probably going to last 4 to 5 weeks or longer. But right now, Iran is very upset. Donald Trump tried to call a ceasefire. They are refusing to speak to Donald Trump, but they are on full attack of the US. And I also read that China has provided them with missiles. And these, I think, is Dongfang missiles. And these missiles are designed to knock aircraft out of the sky. And China just gave this to Iran. So, oh, you can best believe everything is about to just go crazy in that region. So, and I know they'll probably broadcast their supreme leader's funeral, because that was a world leader. I'm sure that in the coming days, that'll probably be all over the internet. And, we shall see. We shall see. But I don't think this thing is going to get better. And I really don't think it's going to be over in 4 to 5 weeks like Donald Trump is claiming. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and share my screen. We can get the updates here. All right. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Thank you.
This morning, as the US and Israel unleash more strikes on Iran, President Trump with a new warning to the regime as they vow revenge for the killing of their supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Trump writing on social media overnight, Iran just stated that they're going to hit very hard today, harder than they've ever hit before. They better not do that, however, because if they do, we'll hit them with a force that's never been seen before. Iran confirming the 86-year-old cleric's death on state TV late last night, saying he was carrying out his assigned duties in his workplace when he was killed Saturday morning. New satellite imagery showing the extensive damage to Khamenei's compound from above, buildings leveled. Across Tehran, videos circulating online, capturing cheers heard for miles as news spread of Khamenei's death. But in the sign of the divisions in the country, others mourning. The attacks began Saturday morning, targeting Iran's leadership, its military and nuclear facilities. Iranian television showing massive craters, plumes of smoke and debris scattered throughout Tehran. The initial assault lasting hours. Cars and buildings in flames. Iran saying more than 1,000 people were killed or wounded. Among them, an airstrike on a girls' school in the southern city of Minab, leaving more than 100 dead, according to state media. The US now investigating, insisting it had never deliberately attacked civilians. The brazen daylight strikes hitting at least 9 Iranian cities, according to state media. The White House releasing these images taken during the start of the attacks, President Trump monitoring the situation in real time from Mar-a-Lago. The Pentagon dubbing the operation Epic Fury, also sharing these new videos. Tomahawk missiles launching from a destroyer. Fighter jets taking off from the deck of the USS Abraham Lincoln. A barrage of long-range missiles firing into the air. Iran's promised retaliation swift, targeting Israel and US assets in the Middle East. Israeli air defenses intercepting a barrage of Iranian missiles over Tel Aviv. Some still getting through. One attack coming in right as we were preparing to go on air last night.
The air raid siren has just gone off once again. It's been going all day. Already we're seeing the signs of what looks like air defense going up into the sky to try and intercept incoming Iranian missiles. All day long, they haven't stopped coming.
Iran claiming they've targeted 27 US bases in the region. Dramatic verified videos circulating online showing the extent of the retaliatory strikes. From Jordan to a US naval base in Bahrain, where 3,200 Americans are stationed. This explosion right nearby. Not far from there, a drone blasting this residential building. Video showing the moment that drone came crashing in. Iran targeting Dubai too, this luxury hotel in flames. The growing conflict's coming as the White House offers different justifications for the attack, saying this is about preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon and to protect American lives, though without offering evidence, they have been rebuilding their nuclear program.
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime.
Well, despite celebrating what they see as success, I think challenges lay ahead for this US-Israeli operation. Not least what happens next inside Iran. Decapitating the leadership is one thing, but it wasn't just about individuals. It was about an entire system, an entire edifice, and removing that is going to be deeply problematic. We've already seen the president say that he wanted the IRGC, in other words, the military wing of the regime, to come to the side of the people. Well, their response has been furious and they've attacked across the region. No sign they're going to do that. And that is going to make success in this mission deeply challenging. Janae?
Ian, those images are jaw-dropping. And so we are deeply appreciative of you being there to bring that reporting to us. Thank you.
Breaking news. That was a U.S. military base and weapons storage site in Iraq that was just hit by an Iranian suicide drone. Israeli media, Ynet, yesterday reported that President Donald Trump is seeking a ceasefire, mediating through Italian channels, but Iran has denied any request for one. Then today, Trump told U.S. media that the new Iranian leaders want to talk to him, and he has agreed to talk. I think Trump really thought this was going to be a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and the Iranian government would fall just like that. He underestimated the IRGC and their capabilities. They assassinated Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei thinking that would collapse the government, but little did they realize the government was fully prepared for this. I mean, the guy was 85 years old and succession was already in place. Now we see what Iran has been doing, destroying Tel Aviv. Just today, they struck Beit Samesh, killing 9 people and 28 wounded, and even penetrated a bomb shelter. And they are hitting U.S. bases and countries across the region that the U.S. has been using to fight them. On X, pro-Israel, anti-Iran people keep saying Iran has hit over 8 Muslim countries and asking why they are targeting Muslim countries. They are not targeting Muslim countries. They are targeting military bases and hotels that U.S. service members have been staying in after they were evacuated from their bases. I would think those governments would absolutely understand that. Also, SUTCOM has reported that 3 Americans have been killed and 5 seriously wounded. Prayers to the families of the fallen U.S. soldiers. They shouldn't have been involved in a war that doesn't have anything to do with the United States or the security of our country. This is an Israeli war. My view on this war after 36 hours is Iran is winning so far. The U.S. and Israeli objectives are not coming to fruition, and Trump wants this over with quickly. I think he realized he made a mistake on this one.
Attention all ships. This is Sepah Navy, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. From now on, all navigating through the Strait of Hormuz is forbidden. No ship in every type is not allowed to pass from the Strait of Hormuz till next notice. This is Sepah Navy, out.
זה מיירטים אבל. הנה. יואו! תפסתי את זה, אני לא מאמין. יואו, תפסתי את זה. מה, אתה לא יודע מה הולך ביעקב, אחי? אין בתים, אחי. רולק! רולק! עוזי!
Attention all ships, attention all ships, attention all ships. This is Sepah Navy, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. From now on, all navigating through the Strait of Hormuz is forbidden. No ship in every type is not allowed to pass from the Strait of Hormuz till next notice. This is Sepah Navy, out.
Breaking news. This Sunday morning, Iran launched a new wave of attacks across the Middle East. Iran has started a new military operation called Operation Fateh-e-Khaybar. Iran fired ballistic missiles toward Israel. Explosions were reported in Tel Aviv and the northern city of Haifa. Iran also launched missiles toward American targets in the region. U.S. military bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE were targeted during the attacks. Reports say Iran also tried to attack the American warship USS Abraham Lincoln, and air defense systems across the region became fully active. Most of Iran's missiles and drones were intercepted, but some still got through and caused damage. One report says a U.S. Fifth Fleet Service Center in Bahrain was hit. Saudi Arabia is now on high alert as tensions continue to rise. Right now, the entire Middle East is on red alert, and the situation is becoming more dangerous. The whole world is watching closely because the next move by the United States could decide how big this war becomes. Follow for more latest updates.
U.S. forces turning Iran's own drone playbook against them, deploying Iranian-inspired kamikaze drones for the first time in combat. It was all part of rare daytime strike taking down senior leaders in Tehran, including its supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei. Fox News senior strategic analyst, retired four-star General Jack Keane joins us now. General, thank you for joining us. We've seen the videos from CENTCOM of this, the first 24 hours. It was a bold target package and what appears to be flawless execution. Walk me through what we've witnessed and where we're headed.
Yeah, certainly. Well, let's start offensively. Over 2,000 airstrikes were conducted in the last 24 hours. That's really quite remarkable. This combination of the IDF and Central Command's capabilities. And certainly we've seen some of the effects of that. A lot, obviously, we can't see, but the leadership targets themselves has been nothing short of remarkable. And Ali Larijani, who is the secretary to the Supreme National Security Council, think of our National Security Council. That's the position he holds. You know, that's a dual position in the United States, National Security Advisor and Director of National Security Council. Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, holds that position now. He was the heir apparent. He is in charge, according to the Israelis. And certainly he is going to be targeted for sure. And as are other leadership targets still that have not been touched. But the primary focus over the next 48 hours, as it was during the first 24 hours, are Iran's retaliation capability. We are hitting their ballistic missiles and certainly their drone storage sites and writ large. That will, in the next 48 hours, we'll likely touch 60, 70% of that capability. So we will see every single day less Iranian capability for retaliation for all the obvious reasons. We want to minimize as much as possible casualties to the Israeli civilian population and military bases, and certainly the same thing in terms of our U.S. bases in the region and our allies and partners bases in the Gulf states. So that's going to receive a tremendous focus. And this was the plan from the beginning, to go conduct massive strikes against their retaliation capability, knowing even though overall Iran is in a weakened state, the thing that they worked on so earnestly after the 12-day war that ended in June was their ballistic missile capability and increase in drones. And that is receiving a primary focus here over the next 48 hours, excuse me. And also they're stripping away these attacks you see taking place in Iran. We said at the outset that we fully intend to strip away the capability that Iran has to sustain this regime. It starts with leadership.
Let's give an example. We've got the Straits of Hormuz here. Here's a really a good example where Iran can have an influence well beyond. Now, just by way of context, obviously you've got the Middle East countries down to the south, Persian Gulf up to the left there, Gulf of Oman. The choke point there, and its tightest point, is about 24 miles across. Why is that significant? Because you can see across it. And most of the ships, oil tankers, can be up to half a kilometre long. They're enormous. And therefore, they're relatively easy to target. They go about 12 knots, you know, a good running pace.
And right now they're static.
Why are they static? Because Iran did a live fire exercise shortly before the war started. Now they've turned around, and the Houthis, the one remaining so Hamas is largely boxed up. Hezbollah doesn't seem to be ready for action. But the Houthis that are active there, they can fire drones, they can fire missiles, all sorts of things. And the shipping, because it's full of oil, multi-million pound of oil. None of the insurance will cover them. So currently you've got this blockade now setting up. 20% of the world's gas supplies, 25% of the world's oil supplies go through there. When's that going to be eased? And although Iran doesn't necessarily have to dominate it, just the mere threat of it is stopping traffic moving through. And that's what this graphic is trying to show.
Yeah, and you could see them sort of all parked up.
Yeah, I'm going to risk getting up here. But the big thing here is that's the choke point. There's loads of traffic here, but this has traditionally been one of the major choke points in this region. And for history, it's always been a problem. And that's why Iran has such control over that part of the region.
Yeah, and the threat is that, well, the threat has always been that they would just effectively close it. But they haven't really had to. It's had the same effect.
Well, even the risk of it, and of course we've been reporting earlier that this other ship, this Skylark, I think, Sky ship that was hit off Oman. We still don't know what's caused it, but we understand there was a fire. We understand that it was hit what appears to be by drones. But any of these stories are going to put fear into the insurance market. And that is what would stop the shipping going through there. So it's another really good example of where Iran will have an impact. And just imagine, why do we really care? We care because this will cause a spike in oil prices. This will reflect badly on Donald Trump. Donald Trump's got his midterms, and therefore it's very interesting leverage that Iran can have to try and back off the war.
Yeah.
All right. So these are just some of the updates of what's going on. And, you know, far as I know, Iran has already closed off the Straits of Hormuz. And that is going to have worldwide implications if people can't get in and out of there with oil tankers, including the United States. So expect higher fuel prices. It's already high enough, right? But it's going to go up even more. It's definitely going to go up. It's going to impact all of us. Wow. Y'all, this is just the beginning of March, and look at everything that has happened in just from January to now. It has been absolutely insane in this short amount of time. Oh, man. What a mess. But these things must happen, y'all. It must happen, you know? And some of us have been saying for a long time it would be the US and Israel against Iran. And look, here it is. Here it is. So, y'all, stay prayed up. And, you know, I do agree with Big Judah. Pray that we become the head and let these Gentile and their madness become the tail. This Gentile world must go. It is really each day, it's more and more insignificant for it to even survive any longer. It must go. It must go. We can't move forward with these folks in charge, as you can see. You know, here we are in 2026, and Gentiles are still having wars to settle their differences. So at the end of the day, y'all, you know, US, Israel, Iran, Gentile versus Gentile versus Gentile. That's all it is at the end of the day. So, y'all, this is it for today for my live streams. I have more in store for us tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be dogging out MAGA on why aren't they running in droves to join the military now. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about Pete Hegseth and the policies that they came out with black men with razor bumps getting discharged, and DEI policies for the military. Hey, you don't want us there? I welcome your racism. So, hey, so now you can send MAGA and a bunch of white guys and white adjacent guys over there to do all the fighting. I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy with that. Y'all keep up these DEI policies and throwing our guys out over some razor bumps. I'm real happy. Racism has its benefits, y'all. It really does. So I will see you tomorrow. Everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. Shalom, family.